So I think a lot of corporate 9-to-5ers had the dream of like, I just pictured it like glass box, sales team, being at the top of the chain. And my background was in hotels. So I went to hotel and restaurant management school. And I remember watching a hotel being built when I was in high school. And I just thought, that's cool. Like, I want to go work in a hotel, but I don't want to like check people in. I want to go work in like a big office somewhere where, it has to do with hospitality, but it's not the customer service side. It's more of like the development side. It's like, how do we even make hotels? How do we even build hotels? How do hotels even exist? And when I graduated, I got the opportunity. I was living in Houston at the time. I moved to Dallas, and within 1 year, I moved to Dubai. And in Dubai, I worked for a corporate office, was working with presidents of 3 different brands. So we're talking about Fairmont hotels. We're talking about Raffles. We're talking about Swiss hotels, the owner of FRHI. So Prince Alawid out of Saudi Arabia. And I'm 24, like newly married, moved halfway across the world. I'm living in an Arab country, and I'm managing this team of like 12 Filipinos. It's completely beyond what I was prepared for, but I wanted to climb the corporate ladder. And I was there for about a year, and then I wanted to make friends, and I wasn't making friends with the team I was working with or the vice presidents I was working with. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, you should go and interview with this company." And I didn't know what this company was, but she's like, "You'll make friends there." Well, it ended up being a modeling agency. So I got signed, and I was just going to these castings, and I was going to these events, and I was working anytime I could outside of my 9-to-5. And it's a good thing I did that, because it was my first taste of being a freelancer. And I just was, taking my lunch breaks and going to audition for some catwalk. And then on the weekends, I was shooting a campaign for Emirates. And it was just this wild juxtaposition that I found myself in. But within a year of this corporate career, they had this amazing idea to basically downgrade me to continue to climb the corporate ladder. And I just remember probably having too much to drink with my boss and my husband and his wife. We went out for a brunch, and this was like a thing in Dubai. It still is. And I just told him, like, look, this offer you've given me, I could go home and I could make more money at McDonald's than what you're actually paying me. And they really tried to sell me on the fact this is how you grow the corporate ladder. After this position, you'll get promoted to this other position. And I just thought, I just made more money on my Emirates shoot that I did for 3 days, and I've made an entire month. I think it's time to go. And that is when I left the world of employment as I knew it. It was 2012. I had no plan. I remember standing in front of my closet going, what do I wear now? Because I didn't wear a suit. I didn't have anywhere to go at a certain time. I felt really confused. I didn't have any plan. We definitely didn't have a lot of money where I was just going to sit at home and eat bonbons. So this is when I started leveling down on what now I look back as my entrepreneurial journey. So I'm kind of an accidental entrepreneur, if you will.
Wow. Okay. Like, I don't even think I was prepared for all of that when I asked you, oh, tell us about your corporate. It's like, oh, look at me. I have done nice stuff. I know about that Dubai life, by the way. Those, endless mimosa brunches and all of that. And
yeah,
it's still a thing. It's a Dubai bling thing. I get it. But wow, what a journey. Like, first of all, I just want to say, I so admire what you've done so far. And the fact, it sounds like you don't waste time. It's like you saw an opportunity and just went right for it. Number one, your friend told you, oh, you can make friends here. Okay, I'm going. It's like, wait, you want to downgrade me? Wait, hang on. I made more money here. You know what? I'm doing this. And you didn't have any like major plan or exit strategy. You just went for it. Let's dig deep more into that. Like, what did that feel like because that's in 2025, it's terrifying to hear something like you don't have a plan. You have a what? Do you know what inflation is saying? Like, I have families to feed, blah, blah, blah. I can just hear like the voices in the minds of people that are listening right now. And tell us what was going through your mind at that time. Like,
I think, part of me wants to say I had a leg up, but I actually think a lot of people have legs up and they don't realize it. The way I grew up, I always had my back. So I entered the foster care system when I was 12. I grew up without running water for 5 years of my life. And I just always had this attitude that once I'm an adult, I get the incredible privilege to choose my life. Because as a child, I didn't get any choices. I didn't get choices if I was going to be fed, where I was going to use the bathroom, what strange family I was going to live with next, if it was going to be a safe night or I'm going to sleep on the roof. So by the time I graduated, so to speak, at 18 and went into college and then went and got my first salaried job, I did the things that I thought I was supposed to do because that's what they tell you as a society, like, get a job. And I graduated right during a financial crisis. There were no salaried positions. In fact, I was one of the very, very few that got a salaried position. And even that, I remember going to the assistant of the dean who I worked for because I had to work and pay for my own college. And I sat down and I said, hey, this offer, I think it was like 32,000 or 36,000 or 39,000 for the year. I was like, I think there's a zero missing. Like, true story. And I remember she just looked at me and she was like, no, Franceska, like this is a starting salary. And I said, no, but I just spent a fortune on this education. I mean, there must be a typo. This is ridiculous. Like, this does not make sense to me. And she's like, well, there's nothing you can really do about it, Franceska. You should be grateful you even have a salaried position. I said, well, I'm going to negotiate extra time off. So I always had this fire in me, like, this is right, this is wrong. And I always knew that I had my back, that I was going to make it work. I mean, I think about, I've been married to my husband 15 years now, but we dated for 10 months, long distance. I was in Dallas, he was in Dubai. We had some issues in our relationship. We were already going to counseling. And I remember telling the therapist, like a week before we were getting married, that worst case, if it doesn't work out, I'll just divorce him. And she was like, oh, you're already thinking about divorce before you walk down the aisle? And I was like, well, isn't that like a normal thought? I mean, we're not in the medieval ages, but why would I just not even give this a chance? Because I fear it might not work out when I already know what the exit plan is. And I think so many of us get caught up in the fear of what ifs that we stay paralyzed, we don't even move, where you are already in your exit plan. Like I always said, like, I moved halfway across the world. I moved to live in the Middle East. If I didn't like it, guess what? I can book an airline ticket and I can fly home. If I quit my job and it doesn't work out for me, guess what? I can go get a new job, or I can freelance, or I can ask my friend if I can work at their coffee shop for the next 2 weeks while I look for something. Like, we forget that we're very fucking capable and we can make anything happen. And that doesn't mean that suddenly you get on like the trajectory of success and it's like just check marks all the way. Like, entrepreneurship is hard. I mean, up and down on the way up. That is a very real thing, but it's about resilience. And I think so many people are so much more resilient than they think they are. They're just in this place of comfort. And to stay in comfort, because your brain is smart, its only job is to keep you safe. It will feed you bullshit about how dangerous it is out there and the inflation, and we have mouths to feed. And yeah, all of that is going on. That is all very true. But there is also a lot of millionaires and billionaires out there that have mouths to feed, and there's inflation, and like the world still goes on. And one day you will die. And these are like fundamental facts that also you remember, I am capable. I have never let myself down. Why would I start now? And what is my exit plan? Like, what is my backup plan if this doesn't work out? And I guarantee you, majority of people are already living their backup plan. So why wouldn't you just fucking go for it?